Call to order the Monday, September 9th, 2016 meeting for the Bryan City Board of Education. If we could begin with the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you everybody for attending and adapting to our having our meeting in our new building here today. Rob, if you would please call roll.
Emily Ebaugh.
Here.
Sandra Keeler.
Here.
Tom Lingby.
Here.
Brian Miller.
Here.
Glenn Newcomer.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone should have received and seen a copy of the August board meeting minutes. Any questions of those minutes? If not, I'd like to ask for a motion to accept those minutes.
So moved.
Glenn, thank you.
Second.
Emily, thank you.
Sandra.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Glenn.
Yes.
Emily.
Yes.
Public participation. Nothing from BEA, and then have on here a presentation from Mr. Keel regarding the H&R Block Budget Challenge.
Yes. So, Mr. Keel, we welcome you.
Thank you.
You can come on
Yep,
and
come
stand
on up,
over
please.
here, and that way the camera can get you as well.
All right. So my accounting 1 and 2 classes won a $5,000 grant from H&R Block. They participated in a personal finance simulation. It was called the H&R Block Budget Challenge. It was a 12-week program that covered budgeting, credit cards, student loans, buying a car, saving for your 401k. And what it was they had to take a quiz every week over a certain subject, and then along with that, they had to log into their account on a daily basis, and then they had to pay bills along with that. So every 2 weeks, there was a simulated pay, so then from that, they would have to pay their bills on time every week. We participated, I think, with over 2,000 other schools, or other classes, over 57,000 other students, and I think 8 of the 10 students that did the challenge came in the top 2,000. We had one student that was actually, the top 22 students that finished, the top 22 anyway, they got a $20,000 scholarship. We had one girl that at one point was in the top 50. By the end of it, I think she was 350th or something like that. But with the $5,000, we plan on investing a little bit of that in the BCT program, since it's being in our first year. We bought cameras, tripods, some lighting equipment, microphones for right now, and we still have well more than half of that left. So we're going to kind of see what the BCT program goes this year, being its first year, and then hopefully invest more money into that as we go along. And then I have 2 more classes since we did the H&R Block Budget Challenge last year. We're doing it in personal finance again this fall. So.
Was this a program that you found on your own?
No, Mrs. Savage actually emailed it to me.
Okay.
And I looked at it, and it sounded like a really good opportunity because they're giving away almost $1 million in scholarships. And a lot of the students in the class were seniors, and so they're talking about how are we going to pay for college. And I just brought the idea up, and they were like, hey, let's do this. And I didn't really think that we would really go that far. I thought it would kind of die off after a few weeks. But the kids stayed on top of it, even over spring break. There was a point in time we had 2 students in Florida, and we FaceTimed them in through my computer, and they were doing it with us and talking us through things, asking questions. So it was really cool to see.
I appreciate it. What a great opportunity. Thank you for working that, putting the students through it, and what a great success.
It's a good time.
Sounds like it was. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Keel.
you, Mr. Keel.
Communications syndrome, Fort County.
Yes. As of September 1st, enrollment in Fort County is 939, with 473 juniors and 465 seniors. So, pretty close to an even split. So, full speed ahead out there. I did want to say that the lunch expos will be starting soon, where Fort County students and staff come out to local home schools and talk with 8th graders. And a date will soon be set for Bryan, is what I've been told. So I don't know if one's been set yet, but I know Bryan, they do not go to all 22 home schools, but Bryan is one of them that they'll be coming to, so that's exciting. And one last thing has to do with the local industry. Spangler Campus Four Counties Job Placement Program. I wish it was a Bryan senior, it is not, but the senior's now at Spangler's. He's in the welding program and he'll be working in the maintenance department at Spangler's. And I think this is a great opportunity for this young man and great that we're starting to get some local industry involved in helping place them.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you to Spangler's Candy for doing that. That's my report. Thanks.
Thank you, Cindy. Rob, treasurer's report.
Okay, thank you. We'll start with the financial reports for the month ended August 31, 2016. Our cash balances at Farmers and Merchant State Bank, $15,430,474. Outstanding checks and adjustments, $115,670. Deposits at Star Ohio, $3,242,189. At Morgan Stanley, $20,114,981. And at State Bank, $4,019,960. Petty cash and change funds total $7,500. Total deposits on hand at the end of August were $42,699,435. Of those funds, our general fund balance is $13,996,661. That's a little higher than normal. We just received our second half real estate tax settlement from the county auditor. Permanent improvement fund balance $2,491,618. Our project fund, our local share, $17,175,200, and the capital project fund for the state share, $4,958,280. Any questions regarding those items? Now we'll look at our amended appropriations. Our appropriation are now set at $26,053,152. Report the items that were changed during the month. General fund increased by $127,500. Principals funds increased by $12,000. Wellness grant from Northern Buckeye Health Plan, $3,820. The athletic department was increased by $500. Auxiliary service grants from the state for Fountain City and St. Patrick's schools that we handled, $6,730. PI fund was increased by $6,047. And student activities increased by $4,000. Total increases during the month, $159,165. Any questions regarding the appropriation changes? If not, we'll move on and recognize some donations that took place during the month. Dr. Brad Pearson donated $360 worth of music to our course program. He's with the University of Toledo. The Detroit Chiropractic Center in Defiance donated $40 to the school district. They had a program going on this summer where some of their clients could designate money to the school of their choice, and that donation was made to us. Spangler Candy Company donated us a 2003 International box truck to the music program. We greatly appreciate that and thank all the people at Spangler Candy for their continued support to Bryan City Schools. Class of 1964, they worked with us all summer on various things, and they've donated 2 of our new flagpoles out in front of the building here, along with the American flags for some of the classrooms and the flags for those flagpoles. Their total donations were $4,772. I'd like to thank Lyle and Helene Moog, who headed that up and worked with us all summer to make that a reality. Bob Rowan, he donated $125 toward the cost of Freedom Flag for our new building, and the American Legion Post 284 donated $100 toward the classroom flags that we placed in our building. We asked for permission to transfer $23,875.70 from the middle school principal fund to the principal fund for grades 6 to 8. The way the buildings were configured before, all of the middle school grades had one principal fund, and now that we've split 4th and 5th grade apart from 6, 7, and 8, we're going to split those funds so that each principal has some money to work with. We're asking for approval, a junior high athletic change fund of $200. Last month we scratched that from the list thinking we wouldn't need it, but then once we got started we found out we did. We're asking for your approval on that. And service agreement with community hospital and wellness centers for speech and language services for St. Patrick's School, and they'll use their IDAB money, that grant fund, to pay for those services.
Rob, what was the amount on the principal fund?
$23,875.70.
That's not the whole principal fund for that middle school, that's just
No,
a
that's-
portion from
that's
6 to 8,
split.
right?
Mhm.
Any other questions? If not, one to accept a motion for the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Thank you, Tom.
A second.
Thank you, Sandra.
Tom?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Glenn?
Yes.
Emily?
Yes.
Cindra?
Yes.
And two more items from the construction project. There's two change orders. One's adding $84,000 and the other is subtracting the same amount. They're just moving some money around from one project to the other, the way some of the items were bid. Landscaping and the road construction project were on one item. One project that needed to transfer it over in the state software in Oaks. So a change order's been written to transfer those money between funds. It's a wash, but being over $25,000 threshold, we brought that to the board for approval.
Okay. Motion to accept the change orders as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn.
Second.
Thank you, Emily.
Brian?
Yes.
Glenn?
Yes.
Emily?
Yes.
Cindra?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Thank you. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
What? B6.
Tech equipment?
We did not receive the GMP 6, correct, Rob?
We did not receive the GMP 6, so that will be most likely on next month's agenda.
Okay. Make sure we scratch that. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I did not see that on there.
I read them as they were both the change orders. I'm sorry.
That's the way I was reading it too.
Yeah,
I'm
my
sorry.
bad, my bad. Okay. Old business. Construction update.
Well, we'll give kind of a progress update.
Yeah.
Because the 6 to 12 building, we want to thank the community once again for their attendance at our dedication and open house a few weeks ago. The students have completed their first week in the school. There have been some issues that we've worked through and small items. As I keep reminding people, until we turn on every light switch and try to use every faucet or every piece of equipment, we're not going to know. So we're creating our punch list, and we met last Friday to address that as well. Last Saturday, we also held an auction at Lincoln Elementary, which was very well attended by not only our community and public members, but by visitors from all over. We were thrilled with the turnout, and we'll have updates on the results of the auction later, probably at next month's meeting. And then finally, we have started the demolition on the pre-K to 5 building. That is proceeding as planned and should be finished by the end of October. We'll have continued monthly meetings with our construction team to review our progress. And once we get that demolition done, we'll be able to more clearly lay out a timeline of reconstruction and renovation. So that's kind of my update. Anything you'd like to add, Rob?
I did talk to TJ Zimmerman this morning from the Carlin Company. He said our auction grossed between $34,000 and $35,000. So we're very pleased with that number, and made sure we thanked Carlin Company for the great job they did on organizing, as well as our staff, custodians, and roofer, and everybody who had so much work put into that. A great job was done, and we had great results.
I also today went through the middle school just to see how the demolition was coming along, and I was very surprised upon entering it. I had one of the Rudolph Libby people take me through it. The second floor it's amazing when you can go up there and look literally from one end of the building to the other, and you see the metal rafters and everything, the trusses and everything that's in place there. You realize how much total space is in that building when the walls are removed and you can see through it. And I think they're making tremendous progress. I was literally surprised how much work had been done already in that building. So I think it's moving way ahead of schedule, or right on track at least. I was impressed.
Excellent.
Nothing else?
Transportation, how's that smoothing out? We had some issues the first day with transportation, especially at our elementary building, but that is somewhat normal for students not to be sure if they're going to walk home or be picked up or what bus they ride. By day 2, it was much improved, and by the end of the week, we were able to shave some time off of our transportation. So things seem to be going well. We've made adjustments from the first day, and we're working on getting those improved as we go through.
And maybe the principals will be the one to answer this question. How's the drop-off and pickup coming along?
It's going to be.
Again, a work in progress.
It is. We did a lot of reconfiguring on Monday night once we realized that it was not the most conducive to pick up. Not what looks good on paper doesn't necessarily work in real life. So since we've reconfigured that, it's been working very nicely. Today and on Friday, 2:45, all our pickup tag students have been picked up, which is normally around 70. So
Good.
it's moving.
Because I know this is kind of the transfer station out here.
And at our level, the pickup and drop-off process for parents coming and going, that long sidewalk and that long one-way loop is working out really, really well right now. It's really kind of self-sufficient at this point, and on day 5 of school, which is really nice. And then with us being the hub, the transfer hub here in the afternoon for buses, the students, the younger elementary students are now learning their way as to which bus they go to when they do transfer, and our older students patiently wait for them to get on the buses, and then they board the buses and off they go. So it's been reduced down to about a 8 to 10 minute process at this point.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll go into administrative recommendations. First of all, you'll see an exhibit of an affiliation agreement with Bowling Green State University. We're going to have a grad student here interning in speech pathology. And then second, approval of an early graduation. Braden Hahn, effective today, has met all graduation requirements for both Bryan City Schools and the state of Ohio. And we would like to approve his graduation as of today.
Sorry, I'm trying to get back to the right page on here. Apologize. Okay, got it. Thank you. Congratulations to Braden for completing his graduation requirements. Willing to accept a motion based on the administrative recommendations of Mrs. Savage. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Tom.
Glenn?
Yes.
Emily?
Yes.
Cindra?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Thank you.
Under personnel recommendations, we do have a reduction in force of classified staff for this school year. In our educational aid department, Jennifer Andrews and Lydia Smith are currently on our reduction in force list. For your information, for the board and for the community, in the reorganization of the district at this point in time, we were able to, as we promised with the levy campaign, become more efficient, and we made a total of 8 reductions in this department, beginning with this school year. Resignations from Jennifer Balzer, Amy Brandt, lunchroom worker, effective 9/6. Jennifer Balzer was effective August 18th. Becky Livengood, lunchroom worker, effective August 18th. Marv Matthews, bus maintenance, will be effective December 31st. And Megan Lytle as academic league advisor. I would recommend to the board that you hire Jackie Curl as bus driver, 1.5 hours per day with 1 year experience, effective September 13th. Sharon Jacobs, bus driver, 3.5 hours per day, 6 years experience, effective September 13th. And Joe Robb, 3rd shift, pre-K to 5 custodian, 8 hours per day, 0 years experience, effective September 1st. Would also recommend that you offer a 1-year limited teaching contract to Laura Springer for grade 5 intervention. Laura comes to us most recently from the Hilltop District, 10 years experience, master's plus 20 level on the A1 salary schedule. And transfer of classified personnel, Amanda Blank to 6 to 12 campus server, 3.5 hours per day, effective September 8th. Nancy Rusk to dish room at the pre-K to 5 Portland campus, 3.5 hours per day, effective September 8th. Kathy Frank to one-on-one aid, 7 hours per day, effective September 13th. Dee Herman to one-on-one educational aid, 8 hours per day, effective September 13th. Paula Kreitz to educational aid, 4.25 hours per day, effective September 13th. Kathy Onweller to preschool one-on-one aid, 4 days a week, 4.75 hours per day. And Bridget Smith to educational aid at our Portland campus, 4 hours per day, both of those effective September 13th. We had a clarification change in personnel hours for Shelley Duran to 6 hours per day and Robin Horg to 7.75 hours per day, both effective September 13th. With our new counselor, we need to extend, she will work extended days in the summer, both prior to school starting and after school ends for this school year, a total of 10 days. We had teachers that continued their education over the summer, so we are recommending a salary schedule placement at this time. Colleen Gaylor to Masters plus 20 level, Joyce Goals to Masters plus 20, Chris Hall to Masters plus 10, and Brooke Inselman to Masters, all on, Chris Hall is on the salary schedule A, and Colleen, Joyce, and Brooke on salary schedule A1. Mentor teachers for both Fountain City and high school Spanish, and then supplemental contracts, Megan Lytle and Lisa Heslop will serve as co-academic league advisors, and Lisa will also take on the role of junior high quiz bowl advisor. And then finally, we have some substitutes to add to our list, both for teacher and classified. Are there any questions regarding those personnel recommendations?
Assuming there are no questions at this point, willing to accept the motion to accept the superintendent's recommendations.
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn.
I'll second.
Thank you, Sandra.
Emily,
Yes.
Sandra,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Bryan,
Yes.
Glenn,
Yes.
thank you.
And then finally, under board policy, we have a new school counselor evaluation policy that is going into effect and must be in effect by September 30th of this year. However, because we're still under a current negotiated agreement, this policy, this actual evaluation will only be in a pilot phase for this year, and we're meeting with our Bryan Education Association and the school counselors to work out the fine details. But we've had the counselors in, and representatives of BEA have reviewed the policy. This is the policy recommended to us by Neola, which is our agency we work with when writing policy. It is in line with the Ohio State standards and with the statute. And so I would recommend at this time that the board approve this policy so that we can get it filed with ODE and meet the timeline.
Any questions regarding this policy? If not, willing to accept the motion to adopt this.
So moved.
Thank you, Tom.
Second.
Thank you, Emily.
Sandra,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Bryan,
Yes.
Glenn,
Yes.
Emily,
Yes.
I'm going to waive, we don't have much news coming out of Columbus, Rob, unless you can think of something. We do have the state report card results were released. We shared those with our staff and with the board. Certainly there was overall a decrease in scores across the state. We've already begun looking at those scores in relationship not just to our 4-county area, but to the state itself. I would like to remind the board to keep in mind that this was a new test. This was the first year, so in actuality, some could say that this is our baseline data to start and improve from here. But certainly, we are looking at those grades. That's one thing that Chad Bassett, coming on board as the Director of Operations is really able to dive into those and identify areas where we can make some improvements. And we've done that already with our special ed department for this year. We've kind of restructured and set some new expectations for them, so we're hoping to see some major gains in that area. We've looked at our gifted score. Although we scored very high in our gifted area, we were taking a look and working with Renee Long from the ESC to address some needs there as well. So we'll continue to do that. That's our commitment, but that is probably the one thing coming out of Columbus this week that is worth mentioning. And then we'll just give a reminder of upcoming meeting dates because we're going to introduce the board to our new staff that are here. If you want to go ahead and get those as I go through the meeting times. We will have a public records commission meeting prior to our regularly scheduled board meeting for October 17th. And that will be held in the Fieldhouse Conference Room beginning at 6:50 with the regular meeting beginning at 7. Business Advisory Committee will meet September 27th at 7 a.m. at the Fieldhouse Conference Room. And the board will attend the Capitol Conference coming up November 13th to 16th in Columbus. I'm going to excuse Mr. Roofer. He's hosting our very first athletic event this evening in our new gymnasium and event. And I'm going to turn it over to Chad for his report.
Good evening. Just want to bring a program share with you. It's our mentor program. We approved a couple of mentors tonight. Just to review, that's for year 1 and year 2 teachers. They're assigned a mentor, hopefully in their area, their subject area, their grade level, to help us through this first 2 years. But the big year in the program, the resident educator program, is year 3. This year we have 9 teachers, and they take what's called the resident educator summative assessment. It is a burden on them. It's quite a bit of a workload. A lot of information they have to upload to the state. They have to videotape themselves teaching, upload, and they get a grade back then in the spring on whether they can advance their license or not. So it is high stakes for them. And they're working hard on it with a couple of them today. There's a lot of anxiety with that. Their career is there in that summative assessment so they can advance. So we also this year our juniors, we're talking about testing our juniors. Every junior in the state has to take a college or career readiness assessment, whether that's at Ford County or in-house. In-house, we have a choice between SAT and ACT. But our heads again, we've chosen ACT simply because that's the majority of our kids take. We have very few kids take SAT, so you might as well get a free test of ACT and really don't have to pay for it. And I also just want to thank our cafeteria staff. Basically, we opened 2 new buildings because of the new staff feeding elementary kids. At the Portland campus as well. I was here the first day. We had one lunch that came to us with about 200 kids. Pretty good sized lunch. We had a few line in like 10 minutes. The kids were sitting down and eating. And that's with kids not knowing really where they're going, where the salad bar is, things like that. So we're going to get better at that and quicker than that. But that's just a tribute to our staff. The first day they were organized and ready to go.
Chad, I do want to say one quick thing, and Diana as well. I appreciate the time you spent with me today, just going over the scorecard, grade card, for the school district. Very disappointed in how that whole process has played out. Not only just, obviously D isn't what we strive for, but I don't believe in my heart that we went from a district that was excellent with distinction just a few years ago to a D school district. And as I dug through some of the numbers, read some of the articles coming out of Columbus and looked at, for example, in Williams County, I think D was the average score for crying out loud. And I hope that we find a way, not only as our district, but as a state, to find a better way to evaluate what we're doing here, because I was very disappointed at what those results were. I think in Northwest Ohio, there was only one district that got an A in Northwest Ohio.
There was only one district in the whole state that got an overall A.
And
Who's that?
Ottawa Hills.
And there's a very high correlation, in my opinion, between, if you look at free and reduced lunch percentages to what A grades were given out. It's an unfortunate reality that we live in, that's how the grades seem to have been parsed at this point. And I would love to hear more out of Columbus as to how that happens.
Yeah, I'm disappointed for our teachers. Our teachers work hard. Our teachers do a great job getting the results that we're
real quick. Thank you for adapting. Thank you for learning as you were on the transportation thing. And team, I thank you very much for adapting. I know it's a transition year. I heard a lot of 5th grade teachers, so this is a year where we're moving into this building and then going to be moving into another one, so thank you very much for being patient. Mr. Rary.
All right. Well, I just want to say we are absolutely thrilled for starting this school year. Obviously, that's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for everyone involved. And just to kind of elaborate, I know we've mentioned it many times in many different ways and fashions and forms, but just a huge thank you to everyone involved in this whole entire process. I have been able to see, and take a step back, the numerous amounts of parties involved with making decisions, and whether it's community members and the input, or making decisions with the board, or the construction crew, or the custodians, and just seeing it all come together to finally live what we were able to live. And it's really neat to finally walk down the hallways and see it in action, and see small groups of students working in the booths, and seeing the technology at use. And so just a huge thank you, and hats off to everyone involved. I know we've said that multiple times, but it truly is an amazing setting and a great educational environment, and we are, again, excited beyond belief. So I do want to tip our hats to our custodial staff. They have been working countless hours and devoting a bunch of their time and effort to getting us where we're at today, in conjunction with the construction crews and firms. It's just been amazing to see them be second to none in what they do and their work ethic. So tip of the hat to them. So we're, again, very excited and thrilled, and we're living it, and we're a lot to come here. So it's good things. Just a couple updates for you. Homecoming is next week. Believe it or not, we're already here. So next Friday is the home game against Wasion. So you'll be seeing our homecoming festivities around the corner here with our dress-up days, our themes, and the float building, and all that comes with homecoming. And we hope to welcome as many alumni back as well for homecoming to be here and witness this new facility yet again. And then we also have, moving further ahead, the following Monday, our CAF, in conjunction with CAF, our Ready, Set, Relax event. So that's coming up Monday, October 3rd. So we're looking forward to that as well. So I brought 4 out of our 5 new teachers here with us. So what I'll do is have them introduce themselves, their name, and what they're doing for us.
Hi, I'm Sierra Lorig. I'm hired as a 7-12 intervention, and right now I'm working with 7th, 8th, and 9th grade intervention, science and math. I'm Lauren Ruppel. I'm working as a 6th grade social studies teacher, working with the whole 6th grade team.
I'm Lisa Heslop. I do Spanish 2, 2 honors, 3, and 3 accelerated.
I'm Olivia Elkins, and I teach Spanish 1.
Excellent. So we welcome all of our new staff members, and if you have time to stick around, we do have some cookies and snacks that we'll get out in just a few minutes, but we'll let the board wrap up.
What's that?
Do you want to do it later? We can do the reception first, and
Yeah. You know what? We'll suspend that, or we don't need to at this point.